Imagine the following scenario. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. A lone businessman, tired and weary, shuffles into a bar and uses some alcoholic drink to forget about life for a while. The scenario I've just described is called escapism, and you may have heard of it when learning about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. While it may once have been used only to describe drugs and alcohol, today it now extends to encompass more things, such as virtual entertainment. That can include things like video games, TV shows, movies, internet streaming services, etc. All of us must have consumed some form of virtual media at some point or another. I don't think anyone here is Amish, although that'd be kind of cool. But the degrees to which we have consumed them vary from healthy leisure to unhealthy addiction. The research I've done on this topic is quite telling, but the proof really lies in the pudding. I myself understand using virtual entertainment because in the past I have succumbed to using virtual entertainment as a means of escape myself. It is this history that incubated my desire to learn more about the topic. Without even realizing it, those who consume virtual entertainment in high amounts or even low amounts may experience the psychological phenomenon of escapism. For the next few minutes, I'll discuss what escapism is, how it works in the brain, and how it connects to the consumption of virtual entertainment. But first, to understand escapism, we'll need a more direct definition. In a 1990 article in the journal Behavior and Philosophy published by Cambridge Center, it set forth that escapism is the attempt to avoid awareness of aversive beliefs. The first line even reads, "Escapist entertainment's essential purpose is to draw us away from our everyday troubles and sometimes to help us fantasize ourselves as better, more important, and better off than we really are." To summarize that point, people who tend to escape from their everyday troubles do so to avoid feelings of depression or suicide. It allows an outlet of escape to put aside oneself and be someone else for a while. In another article published in 2006 in the Journal of Communications, this specific type of escapism is defined as sociological escapism, where one will tend to put aside the pressures of society upon themselves. To understand exactly how it happens, I spoke with psychiatrist Dr. Perry Zuckerman, MD, my father, in May of 2017 to get a better understanding of the principles of escapism, and specifically sociological escapism. He explained to me that escapism is like many other psychological desires. The desire to rid oneself of negativity is a completely natural psychological desire. For example, the fight or flight response exists to help rid oneself of very current stress issues, such as an oncoming attacker. Stress and depression is such examples of negativities that, albeit are a bit more long-term than the fight or flight response, but they exist in the same way. Ridding oneself of such negativities works in the exact same way. However, to the brain, solving the issue and ignoring the issue are the same thing. While ignoring the issue allows the brain to release the same happy chemicals as one would do solving it, it doesn't actually solve the problem. And therein lies the problem of escapism. Putting aside one's problems and not actively solving it does allow oneself to put away the stress for a while, but it doesn't solve the problem, leading to a vicious cycle of escapism and more problems building up. He also my father loaned me the DSM-5, which is pretty much the holy Bible of psychologists and psychiatrists alike. In it has pretty much every psychological oddity that psychologists and psychiatrists can use to diagnose their patients. In the conditions for further study section, all the way in the back of the book, it has the section of internet gaming disorder. Now, this section in the back of the book doesn't, it exists because they don't acknowledge it as a specific disorder, but they acknowledge its existence. Something like that is probably for the DSM-6. Anyway, under the internet gaming disorder, number 8 of its diagnostic symptoms says, use of internet games to escape or relieve a negative mood, such as feelings of guilt, anxiety, hopelessness, etc. Now, a psychologist or a psychiatrist could very well diagnose someone with these tendencies, with addiction, but while that would work short term, that probably wouldn't work long term. Again, something for the future. The APA, American Psychological Administration, I do believe, has said that they, quote, encourage further study in the future. Fortunately or unfortunately, escapist media today make it all too easy to lose oneself and escape. TV shows are becoming more immersive and realistic than ever before. Movies are a great new way to lose yourself for 2 hours. you're anything like my roommate, you'll have a collection of over 200 movies. It's crazy. Video games these days are breaking the bounds of what is or isn't possible. Virtual reality, oxymoronic as it may seem, is a crazy new way to literally lose yourself. The line between reality and fiction these days is only blurring. As I've said, all these new things are crazy new ways to lose yourself, and as I've said previously, this vicious cycle of escapism and problem building can only get worse and worse. To conclude, that man walking down the street, going into the bar, could be you or me, putting off a homework assignment for a couple hours. I mean, what do you think I did instead of writing this speech? Stay wary of escapism. Stay wary of escapism. Hopefully I've drilled that point into all your minds this far. Anything that can distract you will. It's only all too easy to lose yourself in entertainment, so long as you recognize that it's only entertainment, as long as you keep an eye on your mental sanity, and remember that it's only fiction. It shouldn't be too hard to not lose yourself too far in that rabbit hole.